Welcome back to the Close of Play podcast.
This is it. This is Close of Play. I'm Oli.
And I'm Craig.
We're your hosts. Enjoy this episode. Make sure you
like and subscribe.
See you soon.
Enjoy.
The button is red.
Oh, God.
Close of Play.
The whoopee cushion chairs.
You have to sit on them, get all the air out, and then you can start recording. 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Let's go. Close of Play. Hi, mate.
How's it going?
Back to where it all started.
I know. It's
Bit full circle, no?
It's been a bit of a journey so far, hasn't it?
Oh, massively. Who would have thought would be on the road to being professional podcasters?
Yeah. See where it takes us. Yeah. I was reflecting on this only this morning. Yes, we have had some technicalities over the last few episodes, but there's a big learning curve with it.
Yeah.
And I feel very quickly we've overcome that hurdle.
Yeah.
To where we are today. Obviously, we've had to invest in some more equipment.
The shiny thing, if you can see.
The shiny Rodecaster Pro 2 for anyone who's interested.
Pro 2.
Pro 2. And yeah, we've obviously got new camera facing us at the moment.
Nice.
Which is overkill in the...
Studio's nearly done.
Studio's nearly done, yeah. But actually, it's turned from being something of interest to something that I really look forward to doing every week now.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like the guests and just the feedback and just... It's almost that like... It's fun, but it's the conversation's interesting and like... It's interesting that this, like today we're talking about the journey of the podcast when we started on the idea of talking about the journey of our businesses. Like it's not a business. There's no, I mean, we're investing in it to be as good as it can, but
at the same time, like the takeaway from it has been amazing. So we had Zoe on in our last episode.
Amazing.
Behind the scenes, not the last episode, but in terms of what the viewer sees, it was the last episode.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a moment on that podcast where she said how she overcome issues with stock and being able to get fulfillment out there using TikTok's fulfillment center.
Yeah.
I should have known this, but I didn't actually realize that was an open and ready thing to market.
Yeah.
I'd heard about this being teased, but didn't actually realize they were taking on UK businesses and actually fulfilling and basically do what Amazon do.
Yeah, they've seen what Amazon do, and they're doing it in their own. Amazon don't have that social media presence, so Absolutely. Like it could be. The crazy thing is, it could be bigger.
But there was a light bulb moment for me when we were having that conversation where I have a client who has a fulfillment issue at the moment, and they have an online awareness issue at the moment. So what better way than to broach the conversation of putting them in contact with somebody at TikTok who can now do this fulfillment for them, and it solves all their business problems.
Yeah, and Zoe's like such a great person anyway, and I'm sure like for anyone who's listening or watching or even any of our clients, like she's more than happy to like just listening to her story. Like she's doing amazing, but it's almost like she said, the stress of it, because blowing up so fast, you've almost just got to manage what's happening in front of you. You don't, with the best business plan in the world, like
Absolutely.
you don't know you're going to go viral on TikTok.
No. I don't think anyone expects for it. Like I think we said it before, but no one plans for success.
No, everyone wants it.
Everyone wants it.
But how it actually happens as well.
Yeah,
it's I love talking to Zoe, and it'd be interesting to catch up with her like almost like 6 months time, because I feel like it's a complete, like even in such a short space, 6 months time, it's going to be a completely different conversation.
No, you can see there's growth potential there. You can see she's hungry for it, and I think it would be a good repeat guest. Absolutely.
100%. Zoe, thanks for your time.
Thanks for
coming. It was amazing. What have you been up to this week, mate? I feel like we haven't seen each other for...
I know.
I feel like you're crazy busy.
We went through a spout where we were kind of here every other day, which was great.
Look at each other's face every day, and then before you know it, it's like, I haven't seen you for a week. Did you hear about the swan that blocked the M4?
I saw something trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I was actually grateful because I consume so much Greg's when we meet every morning.
It is dangerous, isn't it?
So actually, it was nice to have a break from it.
Yeah, but you are a lot more balanced than me, though. You started off with your Greg's order being, I'll have a flat white and a pain au chocolat.
Oh, it was certainly.
And then it's bacon butties, and I'm the guy who always walks in with the best intention to buy a porridge. And then it's too easy.
There's no porridge left? Oh, no.
Oh, no. You only want a coffee, and it's like, do you want, for an extra 20p, do you want a bacon sandwich?
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
It's literally how they get you.
Great marketing.
At every opportunity when you walk in. Have you seen there's a new Greg's menu, actually? Sidetrack completely.
Is that the one with like chicken burger?
Chicken burgers and all sorts on there.
Is that real, or is that just fake news?
I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
It could be, because they got the goujons and all that. Look at us. I mean, use word Close of Play 10 at Greg's. Remember?
Still the unofficial sponsor, by the way.
One day.
One day, yeah.
We'll be absolutely massive when they sponsor us, as in size.
Yeah.
So that's Greg's for you. Enough of them. They're not giving us any money.
No.
No one's giving it. The studio's finished. Looks good.
Looks really good. There's a bit of signage potentially. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always hard, isn't it? Because you never want to overbrand. And I always think that whether you're listening or watching, you know what it's called. But then I feel this is the kind of thing that you can just stumble upon. Like people will share it or. Like,
it is good though, because now the episodes are out there and they're starting to rank and soon to become the number 1 UK podcast.
That's it. The close of play. But
I search for it and it comes up right at the top now. Where before I was like, where is it? Where is it?
Maybe we've just been clever with the name as well.
Yeah.
As in, like, there's nothing, a lot of things that kind of sound the same or look the same. Whereas if you're looking for it, it comes up.
Have we ever talked about how we came up with the name?
No. Should we talk about it?
I think we should talk about it. I think it's quite a funny story.
Go on then.
Like those like office sayings is where it stems from. Basically, they're completely idiotic, but we use them all the time. So things like, oh, we'll have this done by close of play.
Yeah. I'll get back to you when I'm back in the office. Or
yeah,
I used a lot, especially being in the military. Everything's kind of abbreviated, and I just have the habit of assuming everyone knows what my abbreviation. So it's like, even on like a risk assessment, it's like OOH obviously means out of hours.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what does O mean? But luckily, a lot of people kind of get on it, or like, close of play.
My personal hatred is it is what it is.
Is what it is.
It's basically when someone doesn't want to explain something, they don't really have all the answers.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's if anyone's interested in Craig's services, he'll be like, yeah, great to meet you today. It's going to be £500 a month. It is what it is. That's it. It's email signature.
Yeah. I don't really have the answer to why it is that cost, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, basically I thought that for a business podcast was a good link. Everyone has got those interactions where you use those words and abbreviations day to day. And obviously we were spitballing the ideas back and forth and we came up with a lot of them.
Yeah, it's weird how many you can think of, isn't it?
A lot of them.
But no, we've got it for this. I feel like it's always been close of play.
Yeah.
And it just works, do you know what I mean? It's very kind of, it's relatable as well.
And it feels like it could be related to a podcast.
100%. And that's what we're doing. That's why we've now on this full circle. We were talking today about making a little video like behind the scenes, but actually we just were like, well, we'll talk about it on the episode. And
we'll just make it the content.
What we're kind of trying to do. And yeah, that sounds perfect now.
Yeah.
But like you've almost got to think of it as a business, as in like day one, even with the best intentions, you've got this amazing camera, you've got kit, but and you understand visuals and content, but like layering it all together.
There's a complete learning curve with it in itself, okay? And historically, I've done a lot of audio work, but it's different when you've got yourself the other side of the camera and you're not able to monitor everything. And actually, there's been a lesson in itself, which is a really nice takeaway for audience and anyone else listening, in the sense that I'm one of these people, I'm sure we've all been there before, where you have a great idea, but you don't ever launch it because you're striving for perfection. Perfection gets in the way. The idea never launches. Someone else comes up with an idea which is very similar to yours, and then you grate on yourself and you think, why have I not done this?
Yeah.
You know?
The fact it's almost just like, well, it's the whole point of this is the unfiltered aspect, as in like, it might not, it's not, we haven't got someone producing it. It's us, do you know what I mean? But then it's raw and the conversations aren't edited. There's no one saying, these are the questions you're going to ask today.
The edit is so basic. It is. And we've obviously put this content out there. Yes, we've had some technical issues, but it almost adds to the journey and where we are today. We're only technically 3 episodes in.
Yeah. With the guests, like what on the whiteboard, what have we got? Like we're up to week 10?
We're up to week 10 with the guests, and the guests are good.
Yeah.
They are good. This isn't just another bedroom podcast. The guests are good.
It's a credit to us, and I will be as big-headed about that as possible, but I feel like everyone's just excited by it.
Yeah.
And it's not one of them that you can look at, we've not got 10 million followers. It's just everyone's interested in having an open discussion, and you never know. It's like an open room almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know where the conversation's going to go.
I didn't go into this wanting it for fame reasons.
No.
I did this because I wanted to do it, because it's necessary to have a voice when you own a business, because it's very easy to get left behind and it's a nice way to stand out. So I did it totally for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
But actually, the more we do it, the better we get, the more confident we get, and the more I'm learning every day.
Oh, 100%. And even everyone we speak to, it's just... I just love the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it
is a conversation starter.
It's not, there's no money to it. Do you know what I mean? And obviously we have to find time in our week to do it. One day. Greg's, I know, I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you. LinkedIn, marketing manager, Greg's.
That's definitely.
But yeah, no, the people that are coming on, and I feel like as it grows, like the takeaways that everyone else is going to get, you're almost not going to know that. Do you know what I mean?
There was a moment where we released episode 1. Released. released episode 1, and I was a bit nervous, to be honest, because you're putting something out there which is very personal. It's your voice, and there's always going to be people who are like, "Oh, Craig's released a podcast. Who do you think he is?" sort of thing. But
I think we both were though, and you can tell that.
But actually, the feedback has been really good, and I don't do it for justification, but it does reinforce, and it does show that you've got something, and then it does give you the fuel. Even the negative comments would give me fuel, but luckily we've not had any of those. But
I just think the back of house though, like if we could almost launch another podcast on how to set up a podcast.
Yeah, now I could definitely write the book of how to actually correctly facilitate and set up a podcast.
But you've almost got to, again, just figure it out and like, not even, there's no apologies, it's not been perfect. Like hopefully now you're listening to this and being like, bloody hell, I'm not having to turn my volume up in the car and then turn it down again of.
And this is episode 3. So it'll only get better. I don't know how we can maximize on this week on, week out. It'll get very expensive otherwise.
Yeah, we're happy with this now.
But I'm quite happy with this as a benchmark.
We're going to stay at this production level.
But we'll keep bringing bigger and better guests.
Yeah.
We'll get better as we go along.
Yeah.
And the conversation, hopefully, there's plenty going on in the world that we can talk about.
100%. It is a conversation. Well, I wouldn't say it's a conversation starter for you. I was on the way to the studio this morning and I realised I had poo on my arm.
Oh.
So I changed my daughter this morning on the way to work.
I'm
but
glad
like,
you read that bit.
Just life. Do you know what I mean?
So you have a child?
I have a child, yeah. It's not like a grown adult. He was like just 4 months old. But I was like, bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? I got poo on my arm. Good job I'm not going to a meeting or anything. So that's just...
in a way, though.
Shows how real it is, no?
It'd be quite easy to turn that around, I feel.
Oh, 100%.
Like, oh, there's that guy with a poo on his arm.
Yeah. That's me. Anyway, but... yeah, that's enough about poo. Do you see the swan blocking the M4, the traffic?
You mentioned this earlier. So, yeah, I saw something on Twitter about this, but I didn't actually read into it.
That made me think, like, imagine if you...
was there a complete standstill?
Yeah, let's just... Well, no, I think it was... Well, it wasn't. It was walking.
Okay.
It was
just walking down the M4.
Yeah, I think like, literally it was on the way to the Celtic Manor or something.
The difficult part is they're protected, aren't they?
Are they're not the Queen. The Queen's dead. So...
I don't know where that...
Has he sold the swans just like he sold the horses?
Like the royalties.
The royalties.
The swans' royalties.
I don't know.
I actually was threatened with police before on Roath Lake, rowing a boat, and the swan kind of just glided into the boat.
Nice.
And there was a neighbouring boat, an older gentleman with his mother, who then said, "I'm phoning the police." And I laughed and I thought, okay, this guy's having a bit of a joke. Yeah. He was being deadly serious.
Bloody hell. That's mad. It's like trying to make it relatable to business, unlike poo on your arm. Would you believe that? Like, just imagine, let's put it in like a Zoe example. She's got like 7 or 8 staff. Like, sorry, I'm late. There was a swan on the road.
Yeah. I mean, until you see on Twitter, no, you probably wouldn't believe it, would you?
No.
Especially on the M4, it's a different kind of circumstance.
What's the best excuse you've ever used in business for being late that wasn't real but couldn't be questioned?
That's a very good question.
There we are. Put your comments below.
Yeah. I think ethically is where you stand with that one.
Yeah.
I've as being a manager in the past, I've heard every single excuse from mother duck passing, and I think that's really dark though, isn't it?
Cats are quite common. I feel like a cat's just an easy grab. Oh, my cat's not well.
But I've heard stories where dogs have died, and then people have taken like 3 months off work. And where do you draw the line? You know, it's like if you get a family member who passes, then I think like the HR guidelines are you can have like 7 days off bereavement. But obviously with mental health being a big thing now, you could take 6 months off, really, couldn't you? In some industries.
You don't know how close they were to their dogs, so
yeah,
a tricky world. I'm glad I'm not in HR.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
We need someone HR related on. I feel someone who would maybe be willing to divulge some of the stories, because I appreciate it is very sensitive what they deal with day to day.
Every story that you talk about in that conversation is John came into the office, or Jill came. I mean, everyone's got a new name. There can be no mention of any names.
And as much as people probably see the HR representatives as the Grim Reapers of the office, they've got some very good stories. They've always got some very good stories.
They ultimately have to deal with all the shit.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw, did you, I know you said you've seen a few things about it. You know, the Prime drink?
Yeah.
Everyone loves the Prime drink. Like, I saw on your story, didn't you buy 3 when you potentially going to resell them?
So I put a poll up.
Wakey wines, £100.
Oh, that whole thing is hilarious.
Yeah.
The whole Prime is a topic in itself, and we'll get into it now.
Did you see Tesco? So obviously, Aldi, very clever. They just thought, we'll stock some of that. And
2 per person.
Yeah. And I think supermarkets are very much, Aldi's never, there's no easy way to buy one thing in Aldi.
No
self-scan.
But they also have no staff.
No. So if you want to get it, you're probably queuing up till...
And I saw the videos going viral on Twitter of people grabbing 10 bottles per person, only to get to checkout and then be rejected and told you could only buy 2.
You only buy 2.
And then Costco was selling it, but it was limited to 2 cases per person.
Love Costco. How many people signed up to Costco? Like, it's one of them things that I feel like it's not about the Prime.
No.
Costco, it's people would have signed up. It almost comes back to, I don't know, look at Jeremy Clarkson's program.
Yeah.
So how
Clarkson's
many people?
Farm?
Yeah. How many people signed up to Amazon just to watch that? How many people signed up to Netflix just to watch one thing and then just forget?
Controversially on that topic, Clarkson's been cancelled now.
Cancelled, hasn't he?
Yeah.
There's a big petition.
But they're still doing season 2 and 3 of Clarkson's Farm.
I think it's already, season 2's definitely been filmed. I think that's out February.
Right. I was wondering where that sits.
I don't know.
Anyway, back on Prime.
Tesco can't afford to stock it because of the security costs.
So yeah, they've refused to stock it because they can't have the security there to man it. They're learning from that. I actually worked for Tesco head office back in the day, and I think that stems from the Black Friday. Obviously, there was one year where we tried collectively as in the UK to bring Black Friday over, and actually it was a massive car crash. People fighting over cheap crap TVs.
Yeah, it almost just got aggressive, I feel.
Really aggressive.
But I think it's...
And I think they've learned the lesson from that, and that's probably why they've turned down the opportunity to stock Prime.
Black Friday's a weird one. Jonathan Ross on this episode. Everyone can't talk. I feel like it was building up, and we were trying to get to how it was in America.
Yeah.
But then I don't know whether COVID just stopped it in its tracks or whether it just died because of people were rushing to buy stuff, and actually you take it home and you'd be like, what's a bunked 32-inch TV?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you look how much it was usually, and it was probably 20 quid more.
Literally. Yeah, they just inflate prices.
Creating a hype around crap own brand stuff.
It was just an opportunity for companies in this country to offload the crap that they'd stockpiled over the year. And people bought into the habit. People were leaving after fighting for an hour to get into the store, 20 minutes over getting something. Yeah. And you'd be walking out with a £20 coffee machine, which you could get for £20 all year round on Amazon anyway.
Yeah. Did you see that video? I'm sure it was like Curry's PC World. It was a proper like news group outside in London, and they were like, "Oh, we're here to watch the Black," because they're trying to report on it on the news or whatever. Sure. They opened the doors and like one guy just walked in.
Yeah, it's definitely died off. It's still a thing in America. I speak to my business partner Nate about this on a regular basis, and we get into some of the topics, and he says there are some really good deals to be had. But it's just something that's never taken over here. I think maybe.
Do you think it's just more online deals now for it, and it's just another...
people want the convenience, don't they?
I think it gets to a point probably like I think after Halloween's done, you can't keep up. It's Black Friday, it's Cyber Monday, it's Boxing Day.
There's too many of them. They absolutely rent it, don't they?
The Christmas sales start like end of November now.
They rinse it to death. They really do, and it basically at that point then the deals become shit. Yeah, you know. Amazon put the deals on, and the best thing you can get from the Amazon deals are the Amazon products.
Yeah, because they have control over the prices anyway.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, and they're going to make it back in the ecosystem anyway.
January sales, I don't feel like that's a thing anymore because, well, one, no one's got any money, and there's been so many sales.
Yeah. I mean, I saw 10% codes flying around, but it used to be a big thing, right? You go in, Boxing Day sales, remember that?
Yeah, people queuing outside Next at like 4:00 in the morning.
Just do it online now.
Maybe that's just the online world, isn't it? So,
but to answer your question, I did get some Prime drinks.
Yeah, did it even taste nice? What
I haven't done it yet.
Sat here with a bottle of what?
I managed to get 3 bottles at cost price, £2.50 each, so £7.50 for 3 bottles.
Bloody hell.
And I bought it with the intention to give it to my daughter because obviously she's 8 and she follows the trends. She loves a trend, bless her. And I put a poll up saying, do I review or flip? And the majority did say review, to be fair.
That's funny, isn't it?
But there's quite a few people who were saying flip because as you rightly pointed out, there's a place in Wakey Wines. In Wakefield, is it?
I don't know. Apparently he's been in jail and all sorts, and he was selling like cans of Prime for 100 quid.
100 quid, yeah.
Whatever he's doing though, whether you like it, I feel like it's one of them things.
But now he's plugging merch.
Yeah.
And he's plugging sweets.
Yeah.
And he's got his own drink as well.
His business plan.
Where he's traveling the country. He's doing club appearances.
Yeah, PAs.
And now he's doing cameo videos.
Do you know what? Whether you like it or not, I think with something like that,
you've got to ride the wave.
Yeah. Whether it's all a facade just to... He probably doesn't sell any wine. You know what I mean?
It's crazy though. He's obviously got this shop. He's seen an opportunity. They've put it on social media. the shock factor of what he was doing has caught an audience. He's obviously then introduced that catchphrase, which is then caught on to the point where he's got every single customer. So not only as a parent have you got to take your child to this shop, which could be hundreds of miles away, you're then slapped with this expensive bill where you're paying £100 for a £2 can.
Yeah.
And then he makes you do the bloody video.
Everyone knows about it. And I feel like whether it's good or bad, like...
Oh yeah, he's not doing anything wrong.
We're like we're late to the game. Like everyone's making their own version of it. And
that's it.
Ultimately, like he'll probably make more money on all his own branded products. I think he had cans of something called like camel's milk or something.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing early videos before like the whole Prime thing. And he used to get people to come in and then he'd hide a fiver in his like drinks fridge and he'd be like, you got 10 seconds to find the fiver and if you can find it, you can keep it. And I feel like, do you know what? Like fair play to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just come up with something out of the box, utilize social media.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common occurrence with the use of social media here though.
Yeah. TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok's mad because like, however their algorithm is, you can see a video from like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That's still trending.
Yeah.
So how the hell that works? It's
just the amount of people repost it as well.
There's no podcast, there's no book, or I feel like you're just lucky or unlucky kind of thing, or you've just got to be bang on the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I will keep my bottles.
There we are.
We'll do a review.
Apparently it's, the cheap, like not the cheap corner shops. The corner shops like the
non-franchise ones,
knockoff Lucasade bottles.
Oh yeah.
The energy drink. Apparently it's that basically that inside it.
Yeah. So the company behind it, obviously very clever. They've got these two massive internet personality rivals, brought them together.
Yeah.
And now it's just everywhere. It's all over social media. They signed with Arsenal. Yeah. And then magically Arsenal are now doing quite well in the league.
Yeah.
They've become a good team overnight.
Because they're all drinking Prime.
But now they're all plugging Prime to death.
Do you know what? It's one of them that like if it carries on like explosive growth, Coca-Cola will probably just buy it.
Yeah.
Because it'll get to a point where their energy drink are sailing.
Yeah. And they've just signed with the UFC I saw last night. So it's now the drink of the UFC. So they're doing UFC style bottles.
I think when it gets to that level, it's not even about the drink anymore. It's about you could release a flat white tomorrow.
It's the brand, isn't it?
Branding is important, but I feel it's timing. It's what is Prime. Do you know what I mean? Like it was probably me and you could have had that drinks company and they could have just looked for something and invested in it. And
I thought it was an Amazon product at first.
Amazon Prime. Yeah, I wonder how they feel about it.
Probably not too happy, mate.
They're probably selling it for even more.
Probably an Amazon brand behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's like Wakey Wines shipping it to Amazon FBA.
Wakey Wines, if you look into them on HMRC, is actually an Amazon brand.
Yeah, Amazon ambassador.
Very, very clever marketing.
Ex-warehouse worker, back of house.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Anyway, that's Prime.
Yeah.
What have you been up to business-wise?
Recap. What have I been up to this week?
I know you've been busy because I haven't been able to get hold of you.
I know. Sorry. Literally, I've just been pulled from post to post this week. I don't know if it's podcast worthy, but it's literally a lot of admin this week. It's a lot of scheduling in shoots. I feel like the momentum of coming back from January still hasn't calmed down. I find myself every Sunday, I've got this routine where I'll sit down and I'll plan out the week. I'll put in where I've got to be. I'll try and reach out to some clients. I know it's not a good habit, but I do reach out to some clients and see if we can just so I know where I am day to day for the rest of the week. I put my dates with my girlfriend in the diary as well.
Nice, very organised.
It sounds a bit bad actually when you have to schedule yourself to be somewhere when you're training with your partner, etc. But at least then it's cemented and we both know where we are.
I almost have two calendars, which works and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So Daisy will put everything to do with the kids on one calendar.
Oh, so it's not just me then?
No, it's like, but like I have to look at it because obviously I don't want to put my work stuff on there, but like sometimes it's so much going on.
So I do have 5 calendars, but they all merge into one. And then I've got different labels for different events.
Very organised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then by the time you step in through the door Monday, you're already booked up to the following week. You know,
it's just got to be ahead of it, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, easier said than done sometimes, but
yeah.
At least I've got the podcast to look forward to.
That's routine.
We're getting one of those in a week now.
Yeah. And also we're all over it now, so it shouldn't consume much more time than it needs to in the best possible way as far as...
No, the setup is here.
The equipment will allow us to just create great content?
Content?
It's not going very well, the wording on this, but content, edit it, sound amazing.
This is why we need the headphones
Look amazing. This is why we need Greg to sponsor us, just
so we can stay sharp on our game.
I was working in Westfield this week.
Nice.
For a really cool client.
Why, you there early hours though, right?
Yeah, so Westfield, I think just the wonderful world of shopping centres is, whether you realise or not, but everything magical and everything cool happens at night. essentially because they're open. So you can't start working Westfield till like 11 o'clock at night as a contractor.
Makes sense.
And
Same as when you see the contractors come into Tesco and things.
Yeah, I think it's just ease because you don't have to worry about the people. I think it's a bit different if you're working in the actual
Yeah, it's
shops.
a health and safety element, right?
Yeah. I walked through my door at like 7:20 in the morning.
Horrible.
Absolutely knackered. Like matchsticks holding my eyelids awake.
The worst part for me would be driving back from London.
Yeah. So I try and conserve my energy when I have to go to site with the guys. As in like, I'll try and not be like physically working and just kind of helping them so I can make sure I can be the driver for the way back.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get in the van, everyone clicks their seatbelts in, everyone's asleep. And then it's like, you've almost on your own getting back to Wales.
Literally. With the radio turned ever so softly up.
But Westfield's just, I feel like if you're a brand, and especially a lot of brands without any UK presence or just someone wanting to make a bang, like Westfield's where they go. And it's just an incredible place. So you got Westfield White City, which is West London, and then Westfield Stratford, which is East London.
Nice.
Prefer West London, obviously it's an hour closer. You'd have to worry about the M25.
And congestions and...
Yeah, it's such a cool place to work though. But that's another thing, congestions. Like obviously with the driving in with the Tesla is great for meetings, but then you still get stung on the congestion.
Yeah, I was going to ask you on that basis, because obviously I know you've got the Tesla, as have I.
Yeah.
So when we go to London, someone said to me, you've still got to register your vehicle though, otherwise you still get the fine.
Yeah.
You can't just drive in, even though you're green, eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And actually, at some point, we are going to be charged for it anyway.
Yeah, so and that's what, like, you've got an electric car, but it's not even about what car you've got. They just don't want anyone to be driving in London.
Yeah.
Or they do, because it's very good money for them.
Yeah.
I think if you drive in, regardless, so in the Tesla, you pay congestion. You don't pay the ultra-low emissions charge, because obviously that's based on emissions. We have none. We're electric.
Yeah.
If you're in the vans, because that's the other thing, it's great having the Tesla for meetings, go all over the country, meet clients, very green company. But then the vans... I haven't got an electric van because you don't get the range.
Yeah, there's like 100-mile range on them.
You put any weight in it, it actually ends up using more energy than you'd need to currently. So hopefully that improves. But you driving in a van, you get hit with the ULEZ, which I think is like £17.
Yeah.
And then it works out about £37 all in. And the worst thing about working overnight in the shopping centres is you go in at, I don't know, we'll leave at 6, get there, get some food, get there for 10 to sign in, because it's an absolute, it's its own world, the back of a shopping centre.
Sure.
It's like a maze, do you know what I mean? There's no fancy signs.
Tunnels and everything.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it almost, do you know what I mean?
I saw it at Cribs when I collected my Tesla.
Okay.
Because they actually take you through the back entrance out to the car park.
Yeah.
It's the weird, I always say, when you buy a Tesla, it's the weirdest and most underwhelming experience. It's like going to the Apple shop and collecting an iPhone.
Yeah.
And then they take you at the back, they give you the key card, and then you're off.
Yeah, once you get in your car though, you're all right. You're like, ooh, this is nice. What's this button do? Whoa, and then you broke your neck. But yeah, the back of house is crazy. But you almost get stung because you're there the evening of day one, and then you leave the next morning, so you get charged twice.
Oh right, yeah.
Because it goes off the day.
Yeah, and it's everywhere now. It's not just London.
They've just increased it,
and it's in Bristol.
I think that's like a clean air zone. I think it's the same. Have they brought it in Cardiff yet? I don't know.
No,
but in London, essentially, like when they need some more money, they just go on Google Maps and draw a bigger line of the ultra low emissions.
Just
Eventually,
keep expanding it.
It'll just be, I don't know. It'll almost be like once you get past Reading, you're going to get stung in about 5 years, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you're listening and you always get, I learned the hard way, as in like you run a business, you're always trying to spin the plates. And you kind of, I think you only get 24 hours. So if you forget, you can go on, if you've been in London, even if you just go in with your girlfriend or family for a day out.
Retrodate it,
up to 24 hours, I think. Right. After that, you automatically just get fined.
Right.
So if you're in and out of London, not regularly, because our weeks are so varied.
Okay.
But you can set it up. I think it costs £10 per vehicle, and you put the reg in, and then it just automatically bills you. And it's the best thing I ever did.
And if you lease your vehicle like I do, then you also get, so the fine's going to go to the leasing company.
Yeah.
Then they're going to forward it onto you.
Admin charge.
And then they're going to give you an admin charge.
Yeah.
So not only do you get the fine, you get the admin charge as well, which I found out recently when I got my 3 points.
Yeah. Also on speeding tickets, everything. It's a clever world, leasing, isn't it?
Very clever.
So they must, I always wonder, well, I think it's changed now. So I looked on Nick's Tesla, because that one's leased. And before, like when I leased my car before that, I had like an Audi A5, and you always just assumed you could never buy it.
Yeah.
Whereas now they've changed it. So like you can buy it after day one, and it's linked with British car auctions.
Okay.
So you put your reg in, and they'll be like, just for example, Nick's Tesla's probably worth, I don't know, maybe like 45 grand or something currently.
Yeah.
They'll let you pay that. They'll send you an invoice, and then you still have to pay till the end of your lease to get out of it. So you can never get, if you've never leased a car before, the moment you sign the contract, you can never get out. And by them saying early termination, essentially all you're doing is paying the full amount of the contract.
Up to the end of the term.
Up to the end of the term as a wanna. So if we wanted to buy the other Tesla we got on lease, you have to pay the 45 grand or whatever it is today's value plus the end of the contract. So you might as well just wait till the end of the contract and pay a bit less.
I treat it like a mobile phone, if I'm honest. And it's kind of like the way the world has gone. It's as easy to get a car now as it is a mobile phone, as long as you've got the credit history. And you get the car and you drive the car. And for me in my pack, I don't have to worry about tires. Nice. Obviously, there's no servicing really.
Does that cost a lot? Because I know, did I do that on my Audi or the car before? I think I might have did it on I had like a Ford Focus.
It was an extra £50
a month.
Yeah. And then it takes care of everything.
Yeah. See, I did that, and then I think it was maybe on the Ford, and I literally had one tire, and I was like, I worked it out. I could have just put the money aside. Yeah. But then again, you just don't know.
So they're Pilot Sports on the Tesla.
Okay.
And I've already gone through a set of 4, and I haven't even done 15,000 miles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a nightmare. I just can't justify it. I'm so tight.
Yeah.
I can drive a nice car and I'll still put like mid-range tires on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's just who I am. Do you know what I mean? Tires are tires.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean,
look at me. Tires are tires.
There's a reason why they call like some brands ditch finders and I don't know.
I think the tires that I ordered last were called like Rotala or something. I don't know. I don't go for the cheapest, but
you go for the mid-range. Okay.
Could have burned some rubber either way.
Especially in the Tesla, it is a quick car to be fair.
It is. But yeah, Westfield, amazing place. It's like water ceiling marble. It's such a stunning place. But like you said about all the red tape that you had like with the HR of working.
Yeah.
It probably takes me like a good 2 to 3, depending on what we're doing for the project. Like it's 2 to 3 days pure admin just for like the submission and the work permits. Everything's got to be fire rated. And don't get me wrong, it allows you to create these amazing projects, but their access for contractors is so it's probably the worst, and the worst as far as kind of the headache, but the best as in like all your certificates for materials, all your fire rating. They won't sign off on any designs that haven't got a fire rating.
Right.
Which just all means for the end client it costs probably double than it would have done. I think
it's a lot more time, a lot more red tape, a lot more hassle.
But then you get to put these beautiful things in the middle of Westfield.
Where it's going to be seen every day, every minute of every day.
100%.
Yeah, much more rewarding at the same time.
Yeah.
I also got to see some of your handiwork not so long ago.
Did you?
When we went to the...
when we went to Vibes. Oh, yeah, we need to see...
Vibes Yoga?
Yeah, Vibes. That was another one that just randomly, like, I started getting loads of... We were getting tagged. Was it the Tab or something that picked it up?
There was some like news outlet online that used the photos, did some nice wording... that they'd shared, and then I started seeing it all over the feed.
Yeah, I feel that was a great one for us, and just a really like cool place. As in, like we've never designed a yoga studio before. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, Vibes Yoga Studio down like Cardiff Bay Way. Really cool, like juices, smoothies.
When we were there, I was chatting to the girls behind the counter, and I was asking them if they knew XYZ yoga instructors. And one of them I spoke to the other day, she's actually working there now.
No way.
Yeah, small.
I know that the yoga is like it's fully booked every class, and it's like 7 till 8 at night.
Yeah,
like
it's a booming industry at the moment.
A massive demand for it. Do you think it'll die off because it's like start of year, new year, new me?
I just think wellness is such a big thing now.
Because what were you when you saw? I remember when you were you talking about warm yoga or some sort
hot
of
yoga,
men's yoga or something? I don't know. Hot yoga. Is that just? That's not just.
It's basically no. It's where they preheat the room. You go in and you basically sweat as you do yoga.
Okay.
It's meant to be really relaxing. I honestly say, just thinking about it, all I can think of is like smelly feet and everything else. And for me, that's not very relaxing.
Yeah, the idea of like if you go and sit in a sauna at the gym, the first thing you want to do is just have a shower.
But one of those things where you probably need to try before you can comment.
Try before you buy hot yoga. Yeah.
There is another yoga studio just open in Newport as well.
In the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Is it no yoga? I don't know. Shouldn't mention it. I can't think of the name.
No affiliation.
No affiliation. I think it's Yoga and Nourish.
Is it? Well, I did have. We all had invites to go and try that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Were you up for that?
I didn't do the hot yoga.
Close the play on tour.
I'm not very flexible, believe it or not. Usually find myself in a.
Do not be fooled.
Do not be fooled by this physique. Yeah, hot yoga is not for me. The end of year's coming.
Yeah.
and I'm waiting for that. Like, we got stuff bubbling along, and like I just know it's going to be absolutely chaos. And I just would wish people would be as organised as they can be, but you can't force it.
You think a lot of last minute jobs are going to creep up?
Yeah, and it's not even unfortunate. It's great, and that's ultimately like just normal for us. But like the 31st of March is the 31st of March, same time every year.
I'm getting queries now, and they're like, how much would this be? How much would this be? And they're like, okay, we'll get back to you in March.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, I know what you're doing.
Yeah,
but actually, I need more warning. Like, I need to know where I'm going to be.
And you find that people will just get annoyed and just start charging more because they know you've just left it last minute.
Yeah.
The classic is we want to do something, we'll pay you now. We don't really know what we want to do. We'll talk to you in summer. So it's like, but then you think, oh, that sounds great. But then there's a business. Do you want this pot of cash that you're then paying your VAT on? It's then filed on your company accounts and tax return. And actually it might not work for you. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately they're just offloading. And that's the funny thing with like budgets and finances. It's like usually like you've almost got to think twice. You think, oh, someone wants to do something, it's exciting. But actually it's like there's a reason why they want to send you the money because they don't want it in their account.
Yeah, I think it does show the importance of forward planning. I know...
it's just cash flow again though, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose ultimately it comes down to cash flow. You're absolutely right.
But then the crossover of end of month to like first, second of the month is always not an annoying one, but like you start February... and like you're still waiting on invoices from like first, second week of Jan.
Yeah.
But that's just the joys of business, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
we spoke about it this morning. First of the month comes and you've still got, for me anyway, we've got lots of monthly retainers and they're never paid on the day.
Yeah.
But in what industry would you ever see that, I suppose?
Exactly.
But you pay your Netflix on time though, wouldn't you?
Well, you don't have a choice.
And your mortgage.
You just take it. Netflix just seems to be going up, and then they're like, keep doing what you want to do if you don't want to watch adverts.
They've just introduced their account sharing bans now as well. Have you seen that?
What, as in you can't share it with 100 people that are your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way it works, I think, is the device that you're using it on needs to clock your Wi-Fi, your home Wi-Fi. So it needs to check in at least once every 30 days. Otherwise, it then bans the account or signs out. It
was always going to be a matter of time before. But ultimately, people just always take it too far. Do you know what I mean? Like, if 5 people are using it and they're sharing the cost, like, that's fine.
I just think about all these girls and guys who are using their ex's Netflix.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're going to get signed out now and coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Like, oh, long time no see. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? You're right. What's your new password? Yeah. What's your Wi-Fi? Live next door, stalking them.
Just think there's a problem with your Netflix. I've just been signed out.
Mad world. What's been your high of this week, mate?
High of the week? I think, actually, not to keep going on about it, but podcast has been a really good high.
Yeah.
Low, as I said, because getting that out there when it wasn't perfect has been
I think we're just like
success for me.
Very honest and kind of no smoke and mirrors. This is going to be probably the best sounding episode, and this should set the bar. And it's not that before it didn't sound like this. It's almost like there's a reason why. And that just comes down to like learning and buying a good bit of kit.
If we waited for perfection, we may never put an episode out to begin with. And actually, then we'd always the momentum's there now. And obviously, it's allowed us to get these better guests.
And it allows us.
I shouldn't say better guests because we've had amazing guests so far.
Yeah, I think it's the podcast which is better, not because of who's on it.
No,
but
the setup's been better. I should say that's what I meant.
Yeah, I agree.
And then in terms of lows, I don't think there has been much of a low this week. Obviously, first of the month. Kind of like the billings reset. The targets are reset.
Bills go out.
Bills going up. More going out. Less coming in.
The joys of business.
But no, everything's moving in the right direction. The only goal I set myself for the year was consistency. We're being consistent and things are getting better as we go on month by month. So yeah, I'm happy overall. What about yourself?
High, even though kind of it comes across as a negative when it's really not. Just being able to work in Westfield and being able to work in these brands, like
nice.
It's just little old me. And sometimes when you stood in these like truly like awesome places and just the brands we're lucky enough to work with, but it's because the quality of work we do, like this job, regardless of who it was for, we were just kind of helping them finish. The company that did it went bust, getting sued by Harrods, loads of kind of stuff happening in the background. And the design agency we work with over in Bristol, really great guys. We've had and the reason why that's good is because we've had a very honest relationship from day one of working together. And that honest relationship is, we can't do this, or we can only do this. And just, it doesn't matter what you do because you've been honest and everyone knows where they are. So we work so well together because we can this isn't going to work.
You can have those conversations, yeah.
But this was working with them and we just, essentially help the client because they've got this kiosk in Westfield, and we just wanted to get it finished for them, and they just had a hard time with it. And it's a weird one for us because you never want to work on someone else's work, especially when you know the story behind it.
Like tainted.
Yeah. But
so it's done now?
We did it. Yeah, it's nearly done. It's one of them things that you do it and then off the back of it, can you do this? Yeah. So we're talking about a really cool project in the centre of London.
No, that's good. That's what you want though. It shows that the relationship's moving in the right 100%, direction.
100%. Same client. So it's almost never think you're better than you are.
Yeah.
But also just really work on your relationships.
Stay humble, stay resilient.
And the low is probably just, even though it's enjoyable and I love working hard. Like I feel on a bank holiday, like on the Monday after a weekend, like I'm itching, like I need to work. I'm just that person. Do you know what I mean? Obviously I want that balance, but I need to keep busy whether I'm at the house or at home or with a client. That's just who I am. But when you get that tired, especially with kids and just being an entrepreneur and like having a life and having like a baby and kids.
Trying to balance everything.
Like you can't just stay in bed because you're working late that night. Yeah. Like you can try and stay up late and get up at late, but realistically you're up at 9 o'clock. So you've been up so much longer than you need to. And like it gets to 7 o'clock the following day and you're just absolutely zonked. Like, do you know what I mean?
You definitely should start prioritizing sleep better though.
Yeah.
There are some scary statistics linked to sleep, which for me, I used to feel guilty for sleeping 8 hours because I would see all these things online, sleep less, sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
And I would almost like start doing that. And I would be going to bed at midnight, getting up at 5 a.m. and trying to sustain on a 5-hour sleep cycle.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to plug another book now. Ready?
I was going to mention your last book you mentioned. So you best keep up with all these books that you're supposedly reading.
So this one is Why We Sleep and is by Matthew Walker.
Yeah.
Or you could just listen to the Joe Rogan podcast that he does, and he summarizes the whole book in 90 minutes.
Nice.
And it completely changed the way I view sleep, and I no longer feel guilty for sleeping and knowing that the average person should get 7 to 9 unbroken hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your statistics of cancer, of all these bad things, like almost goes up like 2/3.
Well, that's scary. I'm going to have to listen to our podcast or buy the book in the next 10 minutes once we finish recording. Absolutely fantastic to catch up, mate. I feel
always a pleasure.
I feel like it's going to be such a journey. We're only getting started. Thank you to everyone for all the feedback, good and bad. Yeah. It's really helping us shape what we're trying to achieve.
No, absolutely. If you've got any feedback, then I'd be open to hearing it, whether it's constructive. Hopefully it's non-constructive.
Yeah. Craig, stop hiding behind the microphone.
I know.
Sorted that out.
Sorted that out, episode 2.
Exactly.
Always getting better. But yeah, amazing start. Let's see how far we can take this.
Got some really exciting guests coming on. Have a great week. Let's close the play.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. That's good.
Nice, mate.
Yeah, I like that.
There we go.
There we go. Better every time.
Press the red button. Go on, you know you want to.
I've just given us a bit of an outro. Oh, that was good timing.
Yeah.